So, yesterday we did odd 4-digit numbers, correct? Now we're doing even 4-digit numbers. And the not repeating is not the hard part. Most people are good with this. Even 4-digit numbers. So we know how many blanks do we have? 4. And in each blank we can put a 1-digit number, correct? Because it's a blank holding one object. That's what the blanks mean. So this is 1-digit number, or another 1-digit number, another 1-digit number, another 1-digit number. And my options for the back blank have to be even numbers. So now I have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, which is how many options? 5. So that didn't change anything, right? Still the same amount of evens as odds. Okay, our first number can't be a 0, but we can have 1 to 9, which is how many options? 9. And then is there anything restricted on the middle? No. So we can have 0 to 9 for both of them, which means we have 10 options, not the number 10, 10 options. These are the single-digit numbers that we're inserting in that blank, right? But there's 10 options, not the number 10 sitting there, right? And so it's 4,500, which is the exact same answer as the number of odd 4-digit numbers, which makes sense. There should be an equal amount of odd 4-digit numbers as in even, correct? Okay, for the next one, I want you to put your pencils down. Just paying attention. If you write something, it's probably wrong. So we don't want to do that. Because I'm going to write something that's wrong, first off. Okay? So when we do even 4-digit numbers that cannot repeat, you're going to try and do the same thing as we did with odds, and it's going to go wrong. So do not write this. If you write it, you're going to be erasing it. So we'd go to our 4 blanks. We agree? And at the back, we'd have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes? We're not writing this down because it'll be wrong. I'm going to be erasing this. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So the same way we did the odd, correct? Which is how many options? 5. Now we box and hold. When we boxed and held the odds, let's go back to just like the odd situation. We had 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, correct? We had 5 options. If we held the 9, we would have 1 to 8, which was 8 options. If we had held the 7, we would have 1 to 6, 8 to 9, which is also 8 options, correct? Had we held the 5, we would have 1 to 4, 6 to 9, still 8 options. No matter which of those 5 we pick, we have 8 options for the first blank. Do we agree with that statement? Not the case for evens. Watch. If I pick 8, if I chose the 8, I would have 1 to 7 and 9, which is 8 options. We agree? If I chose the 6, I would have 1 to 5, 7 to 9, 8 options. If I chose the 4, I would have 1 to 3, 5 to 9, 8 options. If I chose the 2, I would have 1, then 3 to 9, 8 options, correct? If I choose the 0, I have 1 to 9. How many options is that? 9. So if I chose the 2, the 4, the 6, or the 8, I have 8 options for the first blank. We agree? But if I choose the 0, I have 1 to 9, so I have 9 options. So can I do that in one case? No, because it would be different. If you choose the 2, 4, 6, or 8, you have 8 options for the first blank. But if you choose the 0, you have 9. We agree? So you can't do the even, no repeating in one case. You have to do it in 2. You have to do it in 2 separate cases. The 2 cases are going to be 1, where it ends in a 2, 4, 6, or 8, because I'll end up with 8 in the first blank. Or I do a case where it ends in a 0, because then I'm going to end up with a 9. So I have to do it in 2 separate cases. Does that make sense? 2, 4, 6, or 8 leaves me with 8 options in the first blank, but a 0 leaves me with 9. So I have to do it in 2 cases. So I'm going to go like this. That is not the eraser. Now you pick up a pencil. So we're going to do it right. Or means I do what? And I multiply, or I add, correct? And I multiply, so I need this number and this number and this number and this number to get me that full 4 digits. Or, so you always add cases because you're going to have this case or you're going to have another case, correct? So when you have cases, you add them because it's or. It's this or this. If I said and, I would have two 4-digit numbers, and I don't want two, I just want one. So I have a case, this one, where it ends in a 2, 4, 6, or 8. Or, my second case, it ends in a 0. And I have to do them in two separate cases because it's going to affect my first digit amount of options. So even has to be done that way. I would star this. People forget this all the time. They'll do it in one. Star, 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 star. So with the odds, people forget to bring the 0 back. We agree? We talked about that. With the evens, people forget to do two cases. You have to do two separate cases. And let's see why. So I have 4 options now for this one. If I pick the 2, the 4, the 6, or the 8, it doesn't matter. I'm going to choose to pick the 8. Can I have a 0 in my first blank? No, that rule still exists. There would be a 3-digit, correct? I can have a 1. I don't know what I just did. I can have a 1, 2, 7. I can't have the 8. And I can have a 9. We agree? So I literally can't have a 0 because it's the first blank. And I can't have the 8 because I held it. We agree? So there's normally 10 digits. I can't have 2 of them. So how many digits do I have left? 8, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 is 8 digits. Use your fingers. Count them up. I don't really care. So we get 8. Then I can hold the 9 here, or the 1 to 7, whatever. Now I have 1 to 7, which people will tell me is 7. Is that true? What do I have to remember to do? Bring that 0 back. It was never used. Couldn't be used in the back because I didn't allow it. Couldn't be used in the front. So I bring the 0 back. Why is it doing that? Whatever. 1 to 7 and 0 is 8 options. And I can hold the 0. And then I have 1 to 7, which is 7 options. So 2, 4, 6, or 8, it doesn't matter which one I pick. No matter what, I'm going to end up with 8 in the first blank. We agree? But I have to do the 0 option separate. With odds, I didn't, because 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, no matter which one I picked, I ended with 8 in the first blank. Correct? 8 options. But with 0, if I choose 0, which is one option, I hold 0 here, I now have 1 to 9 here, which is actually 9 options. Do you see how the first blank changes if you pick a 0 or if you pick a 2, 4, 6, or 8? Does this make sense? Because I lose people on this example. Does it make sense? 2, 4, 6, or 8 gets you an 8 in the first blank, whereas 0 gets you 9 options. So you can't do them together as one whole example because it would be different. Now say I hold the 9, now I have 1 to 8, and people will tell me, but I can bring back the 0. Can I actually bring back the 0? I already used it, right? So if I had tried to lump these together, I wouldn't have been able to bring back the 0 if I held the 0, but I could bring back the 0 if I kept the 2, 4, 6, 8. Do you see how these can't go together as an example? Because this one, the 0 is already used up, I can't bring it back. Like I have to do them separately. So 1 to 8 is 8. Hold the 8. Now I have 3 numbers off. I don't, this board sucks. 1 to 7. It just decides to top my head. And now the numbers are all in the writing, which is awesome. All right. Now, can I type this all in at once? The thing that you have to remember is you can, if you put them in brackets. Also, you can get away with it if it follows BEDMAS rules. The catch on your calculator always follows BEDMAS rules. It will always do brackets first, then exponents, then multiplication, then division. It does that, right? So if you ever want something to happen, first put it in brackets. Your calculator has to. So if you wanted to put it all in at once, you can. You'd get away with it without brackets because it'll actually force the multiplication, but that's fine. But if you want something to happen, you put in brackets, your calculator has to do it. It's completely BEDMAS rules. Okay? So there are 2,296 even 4-digit non-repeating. Okay? All right. back to example 8. The telephone numbers allocated to subscribers in a rural area consist of one of the following. Now, some people are like, but phone numbers are 7 digits. It doesn't matter. Like, they can make something random up. It doesn't have to follow like real phone number rules, right? Like, it doesn't have to. So this particular rules are the digits 3, 4, 5, followed by any 3 further digits. So how many blanks is that? The digit 3, 4, 5, followed by any 3 further digits. How many blanks? Year 6, right? So we go 1, 2. What is this board doing? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have the word or. What do we do when we have the word or? Add, right? And add sound like they should go together. And add sound like they should go together, but they do not. And goes with multiply, or goes with add. And also when you have cases, you have this case or you have this case, you always add cases. You have this case or add this case. And the cases get multiplied together, right? Like we have multiplications, or, and then our next case. The next case is the digit 2, followed by one of the digits 1 to 5, followed by 3 further digits. And now in your head you might be like, one's a 6 number and then one's a 5? Like that can't be real. It doesn't have to follow rules. They can make up what they want, right? Now, I wouldn't normally just do blanks. As I was reading along, I would be showing the options below, what would be allowed for that blank. So the first one says the digits 3, 4, 5. So I would go, okay, well, this has to be the digit 3. This has to be the digit 4. This has to be the digit 5. And then these can be any further digits. Does it say anything about not being able to repeat or anything? If it doesn't say you can't repeat, you assume that you can. Okay? So, what are the options for these last 3 blanks? Yeah, 0 to 9. So 10 options. So we list the options below. We list the quantity of options above. So if it's a 3, I have 1 option. If it's a 4, I have 1 option. If it's a 5, I have 1. It's moving me again. 0 to 9, I have 10, 10, 10. So that particular one is 1 times 1 times 1 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. Plus the digit 2, followed by one of the digits 1 to 5, followed by any 3 further digits. I'm getting frustrated by. Now it's just deleting stuff I'm writing. Never been this bad. I don't know what's going on. So 6,000. We have the word English. Distinguishable means you can tell them apart. Okay? That's just words, like pool and pool. If I had the word pool and I swapped the O's and I had the word pool, you can't tell it apart. It's still the word pool, correct? That's what it means by distinguishable. So, now we can have any letter in any position. How many letters are we putting down here? 4. Good answer. Thanks, guys. Don't all answer at once. 4 are letter words. So how many blanks do we have? 4. And how many letters can go in each blank? 1, right? That's what the point of the blanks are. So this will be my first letter of my word, second letter of my word, third letter of my word, fourth letter of my word. Now we're going to see if you're paying attention. Okay. English has how many letters in it? 7. How many can go in this blank? How many of them? There's 7 of them, right? How many letters am I leaving there? I don't even know. It just like went away. I can't even go back. whatever. I'm frustrated at this point. Okay, 7. Cool. How many letters do I have for the next blank? 6. Not 7. If you put 7, you're telling me you have an unlimited amount of Scrabble tiles of the word English, correct? Remember, every time you are using a word, this is what you need to know. Every time someone hands you a word, they're indirectly handing you the word and saying, you cannot repeat. They're never going to say you can't repeat. They're going to hand you a word, that specific amount of letters, and that's all you have, so you can't repeat. So as long as you remember every time you do a word, you cannot repeat. I would put myself a little star, star, star. Cannot repeat. Given a word, cannot repeat. Given a word, cannot repeat. Okay? So we can use box and hold then if we want to. And you'll start doing it this way, and then eventually you'll stop writing all the letters. That's okay. So we have the word English, E-N-G. These are all the options I have. Then they're not unlimited. I have 7 letter tiles in my hand. So say I place the H here. Then how many do I have left for this one? 6. E-N-G-L-I-S. Keep the S. Then I would have 5. Then I would have 4. And you can continually write all the letters in box and hold the whole way if you really want to. And at first you're probably going to do that. And after a while you might stop doing it. You have to watch with these ones because sometimes you're doing all the letters in the word English, then you'd have 7 blanks, right? Or sometimes you're doing 4 letters of the word, so you really have to read. So it's 840 different words, distinctly different words. Okay. The next one says the first letter must be an E. How many letter blanks do we still have? Still 4. We're still doing 4-letter words the whole way along. And each blank can only hold 1 letter. The first letter must be an E. How many options is that? How many E's are in the word English? 1. Then I hold it. Because I always remember that I cannot repeat. Correct? Then what's the next one? How many letters do I have left? 6. I have NG. You want to show them all you can. Say I hold the H. Then I would have 5. And then I would have 4, which is 120. The first and last letters must be vowels. Okay, life lesson. Didn't know this. People don't know their vowels. I was shocked. This is a real thing. It happens every year. A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. There's a song. A, E, I, O, U are the vowels, are the vowels. You might need to sing it. It might be your friend. If you don't know the vowels, your first step is denial. Get past that. Your second step is acceptance. Write down. I don't even care who you are. I don't need to see it. We don't need to talk about it ever again. A, E, I, O, U. There are 5 of them. Write it down. Memorize it. You're going to need it. Okay? A, E, I, O, U. What's the opposite of vowels? Consonants. Consonants are not vowels. There are 26 letters in the alphabet, right? If 5 of them are vowels, how many are consonants? There are 26. 5 are vowels. There are 21 consonants, right? And some people say, what about sometimes Y? Sometimes Y doesn't come into math. There's no sometimes Y. Sometimes Y is just for a vowel is just because if a word doesn't actually have a vowel, the Y will take over as the vowel, right? If you have a word with no vowels and the only vowel would be the Y, that's when sometimes Y comes into effect. We don't have that in math because we don't have to have words that make sense. The word could be like me. We're not bringing out the Scrabble book and checking if it's like a real word or anything like that. We don't even care. Okay? Sometimes Y is not a vowel. So, first and last letters must be vowels. Still a 4-letter word. Now, some people will say A, E, I, O, U. We have the word English. So, what are the vowels we have? E and I. You can start at the front, you can start at the back, doesn't matter, but you do have to start with restrictions first. So, what?
Employment insurance.
Oh, true, EI. 2. Fun fact. That is so how my brain works, so I feel where you're at there. Yeah. I feel like we're kindred spirits. Okay, EI. So we keep the E, and then this one is? Only option? I. If you kept the I, then this would be E. Cool. Holden. How many letters? So I've used up how many letters? Duh. I have how many left? 6. Put some French in for you. You're welcome. All right, so I have 5 left. Then 4. And then that is Caron. You're welcome. Okay, cool. Last one I'm going to start. I've never seen someone give this, but I leave it on here just in case. If it says the word must contain a G, does it say where the G has to be? So we can have cases, correct? We could have a case where the G is what letter? There's 4 letters. The G could be the first, or the G could be the, or the G could be the, or the G could be the. So we have 4 cases. G could be the first, or, between plus sign. G could be the second, or G could be the third, or G could be the last. Now remember, when you do cases, you start over with all those Scrabble tiles again. Every case you get your you get your 7 Scrabble tiles back. So here we have 1 G. Then, how many letters are left? 6. Then? Then? Now here we start with this one, we start with friction first, so 1 G. Then how many letters are left? 6, then 5, then 4. Here we have 1 G, 6, 5, 4, 1 G, 6, 5, 4. So technically they all come out as 120, right? Because we're just rearranging the 6, 5, and 4, putting the 1 in different spots. So we could go 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120. Or we could do 120 times 4 cases where the G is going to move. And we get 40. So tomorrow we're going to start with daily review questions as well. And I normally don't give this much time, so you should be very happy with this. But here are questions to try. These are going to be the questions you're going to do. I want to draw your attention to number 3 for a second. When you start a hockey game, what is the score? 0-0. We agree? Keep that in mind. When you start a hockey game, it starts at 0-0. Keep that as a little bit of info for your brain. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then here's the answers to check it. 8 questions. You have a lot of time. Finish them. Remember, at the end of the unit, you're going to show me all your work, right? So this is also involved in that. 8 questions.